You're listening to Operator.
So, welcome to the After Hours here at Operator Radio, and welcome to the 9th episode of mikus, which also happens to mark a year since I started doing this project. Well, technically, it's somewhat of an early celebration because the year is marked on the 23rd of the month, but I do like to celebrate regardless. Tonight is gonna be a cinematic club night, if you may, pun intended, where I'm gonna combine some songs played in party scenes and club scenes in movies, but also some songs that I think are great candidates for a club night from a movie. So we're kind of putting cinema in clubbing and clubbing in cinema. This is not only to celebrate the past year, but also to somewhat look over some films I've discussed in the episodes of this year. And in this listening episode, we will also go through different genres and types of parties in film. So let's get started, and let's put the movie in Last Night Was a Movie.
Come on. Hot, sicker than your average. Papa twist cabbage off instinct. Niggas don't think shit stink. Pink Gators, my Detroit players. Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. That's dead right. If the head right, Biggie there every night. Papa been smooth since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruise, cruise, who? Do something to us. Talk, go through us. Girls walk to us, wanna do us. Screw us, who us? Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch. Stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3. Bang every MC easily.
Take that.
Easily. Recently, niggas frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace. Keep my peace. Cubans with the Jesus peace. With my peace. Packing, asking who want it. You got it, nigga, flaunt it. That Brooklyn bullshit, we on it.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake.
I put hoes in NY onto DKNY. Miami, DC, prefer Versace.
That's right.
All Philly hoes know it's Mosquito.
So, we are currently listening to Hypnotize by the Notorious Big. It's featured in 10 Things I Hate About You, and it's one of the first ever club movie songs that got my attention, somewhat foreshadowing this episode way before it was even conceived. The scene plays in a house party where Kat Stratford, one of our main characters, is seen dancing on a table, and simultaneously Patrick, the love interest, is trying to, let's say, calm her down a little bit because she's really drunk. And Kat's drunken dance segues into the first intimate scene with her and Patrick, in which it's the first scene where they don't seem to have a disagreement or a fight. So it's really a motivation, let's say, or somewhat of a transition into what will later be a great romance.
True run. I know you sick of this lame brand nigga with flows. Girls say he's sweet like licorice. So get with this, nigga, it's easy. Girlfriend, here's a bitch. Call me round 10, come through, have sex on rubs, that's Persian.
Right.
Come up to your job, hit you while you're working, for certain. Papa freaking, not speaking, leave that ass leaking like rapper demo. Tell them who, take their clothes off slowly. Kill them with the force like Obi, dick black like Kobe, watch me roam like Romy. Lucky they don't owe me, where to say, show me, homie.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy flashy ways. Guess that's why they're broken. You're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Guess that's why they're broken. You're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
And with that, Mark Renton had fallen in love in the first Trainspotting movie in a very iconic club scene when he locks eyes with his love interest, Diane. Atomic was covered by Sleeper, reportedly because the Trainspotting filmmakers could not license the original track by the band Blondie. And in that way, this specific cover, this specific version gets very tied with the film itself.
stayed away. Another night, and I thought, well, go to another party and hang myself gently on the shelf. The death of the teenager standing on his own. Why did he bother? Should have slept alone. Another night, and I thought, well, go to another party and hang myself gently on the shelf.
We're currently listening to Death of a Party by Blur. It's featured in All of Us Strangers, a movie that we also discussed earlier in the year when talking about the intersection of psychology and cognition in cinema. This is featured in a scene towards the end of the movie, in quite the climax of the plot, where the two characters are in a club dancing and living their romance, while simultaneously a lot of the illusion and the fiction seeps into the reality of our main character. Let me also mention that this scene, in combination with this track, made me do a deep dive into Blur's entire discography. Although the interpretations of the lyrics of this track, Death of a Party, often point towards STDs and party culture, I particularly like the contradiction between death of a party and the life of a party, which is more commonly used, as well as the escapism they connote, which is very in line with our character's mindset in this scene. could not do this episode without including a track from The Sopranos, which, as I mentioned in the previous episode about like gangster movie soundtracks and the like, which this song is called Session, is by Linkin Park, their 2003 album called Meteora. And this is featured in the I think episode 6, in the ending scene of episode 6 in season 5. Moving on, we're gonna pump up the BPMs a little bit, and we're gonna listen to a song from 1997 film Doberman.
People, voodoo people.
Voodoo People is by The Prodigy. Like I said, it's featured in the movie Doberman by Jan Koenen, and it specifically plays in a scene where our characters visit a nightclub called Joe Hell. And it's almost like an allegory to Sodom and Gomorrah, that club, because a lot of crime is taking place, a lot of drugs are getting abused, and most importantly, it's a huge driver for the plot, because our main characters, which are a gang of criminals, let's say, are letting loose after committing a heist, and this allows the police to catch up to them. Let me make a note that this is another ode to the previous episode featuring the soundtrack of gangster films. The electronic sound of the Prodigy, I think, perfectly sets the tone for the ultra-violent, drug-abusing and crime-committing characters of Doberman. And since I mentioned the ultra-violent, let me also drop a fun fact that Doberman is a great example of ultra-violence in film, in that violence is not only a characteristic of it, but it's almost done to like extensive, excessive amounts. It's a super long track as well. It's almost 7 minutes, 6 minutes and a half to be exact. And I think it just is a perfect track to put in a scene like the one it is featured in, because it kind of dresses the action but without taking away from what's happening. So I want to move into a slightly different genre, and I must admit I could not help but add a track from Kneecap and their titular film from 2024 with some of the most electrifying live music scenes I've watched. The film put the band in the international charts, and it also spread their protest to legitimize the Irish language for one, as well as their advocacy for a free Palestine. We're gonna listen to HOOD, as I said, by the Kneecap.
Here, tell him he's the most violent person you know except our respect.
Fucking catch a mockeries. Boriac pen dealer, Boriac snake shake was a cocktail bread for unleashing the beast. He wore a mock for night at least. Dread Jella, he's beating some fella. Talking, are you seeing shot? And it's for sure straight to Silla. Fucked into the back of the Jeep, he falls asleep. He does it every week. Chucky or la, get the Brits out, lad. A one-way ticket, please. I've lost my bus pass. It's Jackson off, he's looking some pins, man. A Kylu fucking Fweegish, man. Keep it at the fucker, fucking fuck off. Jesus said on the cross. 2 tins of booze, 20 figs, and the dog is still lost. Who's next? Me, miss. Someone you like a bag. While you're shopping out your nose, I see your ankle tag. Fuck you, curfew, dislocated eye socket. Overnight cop shop with 2 rounds in his pocket. Loves his reputation, now he's known for being a rocket. In his dreams, 9mm loaded. I'm a hitch, double OD. Low lace, come with what they say about me. Cause I'm a hitch, double OD. Low lace, come with what they say about me.
A dog with a job, what the fuck is that? When our brewer Mickey's just sitting in the flat, sipping on his cans and smoking rollies. Cause all the best jobs are taken by the doggies.
Sweaty black and crack and must play for lab. Beat the fast and it says, get that note on bank cash. Jack and Nish, hit the stash, month to pass, it's an arch. Jack a goose, Coquelina, Solonarian, jaw ash.
It's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be a bloodbath. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Throw a hook, a jab and a boot. I sneak a quick tooth, then I fire another boot. For calling me a fruit, for trying to take the loot. But Billy won't be bothering any more hoots.
Nish, couple of cash, do you want it in your chest or your knees or your head? DJ Provey has the lead. You can beg, you can plead, you can tell us what we need. You can change your name,
But you're all the fucking same. I'm
We're moving into much more electronic party soundtrack territory with Brutalizer from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross from the movie Challengers. The producers of the original score, the duo, is also known from their band Nine Inch Nails, which I find it to be a super interesting fun fact that Nine Inch Nails also does soundtrack. And on top of that, they're also Academy awarded with the Oscar for Best Original Score twice in the past. Mentioning that the songs from Challengers are not really featured in a club scene, but I think they're super eligible to be played in a real life club. Currently listening to Match Point, also from the Challengers. It's also much more recognizable. I think it was circulating social media a lot when the movie was first released. And I think this, more than Brutalizer, is also an excellent example of how the score in Challengers is really pacing the tension. As well as being an excellent soundtrack to a tennis match. Live set at Wimbledon when?
Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
We're listening to Pump It Up by Endor. This is very famous this year from the movie Substance, and it's specifically featured in a film in the scene of the TV show Pump It Up with Sue. Sue being a main character. I have not watched the film because I have quite a light stomach for body horror, but Pump It Up is originally by Danzel from the early 2000s and was remixed by Endor in 2019. Of course, upon the release of the movie, the track resurged, and partly due to clips of the scene circulating in social media.
Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
We met up for a drink. We got along us two. After hanging for a while, you asked, what should we do? You asked me, can you dance? I looked at him and smiled. I try to be a good girl, but I wanna feel alive. I got a crush. Can't get enough. You told me hush. Oh, what a rush. Got a crush. Can't get enough. You told me hush. Oh, what a rush.
That was Crush from Yellow Claw, Matavistic and Rhyme. It's featured in Baby Girl, the erotic thriller, let's say, of the year, which I also talked of in the Valentine's episode. Crush is featured in a very pivotal scene where Romy, the main character, goes to find Samuel, the love interest, in a rave. This song is playing and it's just the techno beat as well as the lyrics denote Romy's attraction to Samuel, as well as her need to let loose and let go, which is also very embodied and very visualized in that scene as she's taking off her clothes because she's hot in the rave, and she's also smoking a joint, and it's really not only a super cool techno song, but also it does wonders for the film. This symbolism of party scenes being breakthroughs for the characters is a recurring pattern, let's say, in cinema, with two other examples I mentioned tonight being the scenes from All of Us Strangers, the party scene being kind of the climax of the main characters. I don't want to say delusion, but it is a little bit of that, as well as 10 Things I Hate About You, where Kat is also seen as very rigid before that scene, and everyone in the party is really applauding her, let's say, when she's dancing. I've reached the final song for tonight, and as it is the final song, it's also going to be a credit song from the film Motel Destino. The music of this film is by Amin Bouhafa and Benedict Schiefer. There's not a lot of information about the track in particular, but one thing I can say for sure is that the body, like the score of the entire film, is quite different than the credit song, and I think it's very interesting what it does to you, because it's very techno. And despite the somewhat happy end, you would expect maybe a more calming songs in the credits, but actually the track embodies the action we saw earlier in the film. So I'm gonna leave you with that. And before I leave you with that, I will also thank you for listening. If you're listening tonight, I'll thank you for listening if you were listening in past episodes, and I'll thank you in advance if you will listen in the future. This is 1 year of Mikru Mikus. Best is yet to come, and let's listen to Motel Destino credit song.